what is that where we can put it all together. And I normally use this slide and this technique. And I mentioned about this reframing when someone shared about how some negative thoughts are positively affirmed in your mind for you to move forward. And this is a simple thing that you can do. We know about it. It's not easy, but we can do it. So what is the biggest challenge for you right now? You can write it down when you are out of this webinar. Write that down. What is the biggest challenge? So the biggest challenge for me was, as an example, is that how do I still train people? And how do I coach people? Coaching was still easy because coaching happens virtually. 60-70% coaching worldwide happens virtually on Zoom or calls, right? But training was probably, of whatever I used to do, probably 5% was virtual. All the organizations are used to face-to-face training. So the biggest challenge for me was, how do I reach to my audience as and when they need me? Because they want face-to-face, and that's not possible. Virtually, virtual thing I don't know. So I framed it as a challenge as to what can I do to still be relevant to my customers, to my clients. And when I do that, I started looking at an opportunity. And the opportunity was that if I learn virtual training, then globally also, wherever people are not calling me because of airfare and travel expenses, Asia or Europe or Middle East, I am now available to them at a much lesser outflow, right? So the opportunity was that the market size was growing for me. And I'm just sharing it with you. While it may seem very simplistic that we can reframe it, but it can be challenging for many, many people in the situation they are in. So we recognize that fact. And I think that's why when Sita was talking about it few minutes back, it's about a journey. You have to change your habits of thinking. You have to change your habits of actions. And that takes time. We know habits are difficult to build and difficult to break. And coaching or training over a prolonged period helps you do that. So therefore, these two questions are very powerful questions. They may seemingly seem very simple, but very powerful if you spend time on them. And that's how, what I heard earlier, a lady sharing about how she reframed it. This is the way to do it. Moving forward quickly now, 4 best practices. We have covered it, but I'll spend some time on one of them, which is, I think, from my perspective, could be valuable to the audience here. The first one, of course, is manage your mindset. It begins from there. Somebody used the word persistence, right? Problem solving, right? All of it will come only from positive attitude and also from optimism. Because if you're not optimistic, you are not going to be persistent. You will drop something very quickly. You will not pursue that habit, new habit, or new way of thinking for a prolonged period of time. Manage your mindset. Be aware of the self-talk you are having. And like this lady said, the self-talk probably was negative. And she put it on a piece of paper and made it positive. And that's also great technique. Putting things on paper helps us be observant of what we are, right? And when what you see, what you're not liking, you're likely to change it. But if it only stays there, sometimes it stays there only and starts to impact our life. So manage your mindset to begin with. Build your capabilities. New capabilities are required. And new capabilities only begin with new beginnings. Good closures, things will come to an end. Don't feel the loss of it. Get into neutral zone and figure out what more, what different, what new can happen to me. And life is all about moving forward, new capabilities. And there is a whole lot of research which is coming up to say that it's a gig economy. Jobs are not going to be relevant. So how do we stay relevant? New capabilities, new competencies. Also, resources. Dig out resources, figure out resources. Have you noticed some people are very good at resourcing things? They have an idea of where to go and get what, and some people are completely stranded. So develop that as a habit, as a process. Be more resourceful. And lastly, of course, is improve your well-being. Oxygen mask. Take care of yourself. Do not always stay in the performance zone. You are not superhumans that you can just work, and work. Take a breather. Go into the recovery zone. Nurture yourself. Take care of the things that you really care for. I'll give you a simple example. A lot of times people say, oh, weekends are for family. I want to ask you, which day is for you? What are you doing for yourself? Hard question or a hard response is, even when you're with family, you're thinking about family. And I'm not saying you're being selfish. I know a gentleman He lives in Spain. I met him probably 2 years back. He says, Deepak, I was under this impression that I will not work for one day of the week and that day is for the family. I was still not happy. I was still not as motivated, as charged when I used to resume work on a Friday. And Thursday was his day. He then decided that every alternate Thursday will be for himself. And he says, I just walk in the grass. I read a book. I'll go out for a drive alone. And I've told this to my family. And he says now, the other Thursday, alternate Thursday, which is now available to my family, they find it much more enriching, right? Take care of yourself. Without that, you will not be able to take care of anybody else. Fair? Improve your well-being. So the question that I want to ask you here is, what lessons can you draw from your experience of being resilient in the past? You all have been. It's not that you are zero in any of these dimensions. You are. But do you know them? So reflect on the past. Look at all the crises, change, disruptions, and challenges that you have faced. What have you done to overcome that and be more successful, have thrived after that? Revisit those and revisit those documented mentally on a paper and see what lessons you can draw to manage your present that you are living right now with those skills, with those resilience factors that you can deploy right now. You are empowered. You may feel disempowered, but you are empowered. You just have to get there and get it for you.